purpose of this program is to provide you with the rationale behind our wetlands regulations. Southold Town has recently rewritten its wetland code. In fact, we're in the second round of revisions. The focus here is to inform you of the science behind the law. Let's begin at the upland edge of trustee jurisdiction and talk about some of the concerns the trustees address when reviewing applications. Please note that the regulations vary depending on the shoreline, whether it be sound shore, bayfront, creekside, or set along a freshwater pond.
We're here on Richmond Creek, and we're looking at a piece of property, a developed piece of waterfront property, and we're going to show you some of the wetlands and buffer areas. A buffer zone is an area, a protective area between the wetlands and the developed lawn area or the home. And it just serves, like I say, it's a buffer area that's no disturbance in it. And it just further protects the wetland from our activities, our human activities. You got to remember now, these wetlands are kind of like they act like kidneys of the ecosystem. They filter out a lot of the bacteria, a lot of the impurities. That's what they are. They're a giant filtering system. And you know, they also provide habitat for wildlife and a food resource. When the Spartina seeds up and later on in the year, the birds eat it. It's a feed for them. And you know, there's a lot of habitat here also, wildlife corridors and habitat for our wildlife. On the setbacks, it's just like anything else. The further away from you it is, the less impact it's going to have on you. And it's the same thing with the septic system. If we can keep the septic systems, we try and keep them out of our jurisdiction, which is 100 feet. And it's just common sense. The further away it is, the less impact it has.
My name is Mark Capolino. I work for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Suffolk County in the Marine Division, and I work exclusively on stormwater pollution issues, working in schools and talking to residents about how stormwater pollution is the #1 source of pollutant estimated by EPA here in the United States. When it does rain, any pollutants that's on the land, for example, oil and grease from vehicles, pet waste that's not picked up, litter, pesticides and fertilizers, get carried by that surface runoff into our local water bodies. A vegetative buffer is really a filter that prevents these pollutants from entering our local water bodies. When you have a shoreline that has native vegetation along the edge, for example like trees and grasses and shrubs, as that stormwater gets to the water body, any pollutants that's there in that water is slowed down. If there's nitrogen in that water, it can be absorbed by the plants that are in the vegetative buffer, and it helps protect our local waters. As you see in this area, we have salt marsh grasses right here in the intertidal zone, but above it, up in the uplands, we do see trees and cedars and shrubs and other plants that do act as a natural filter. So again, this is a nice piece of property that does have a vegetative buffer right along the shoreline.